Hello all. It has been a while since my last video, I think. I'm half blonde now, and I have recently started taking driving classes. I'm old enough to legally operate a motorized vehicle that weighs over a ton, and I feel like that shouldn't be allowed ever, because I'm me, but it is, and I am. So do with that information what you will. As the title of this video suggests, I will be answering a bunch of questions that I've gotten over the past year. Don't judge me, I was actually gonna post this video a year ago. This is just ask me anything about FA or my spinal fusion surgery that I had back in 2021 or anything relating to either of those. This is kind of more of a serious video, which is kind of odd as I usually don't do those type of videos, but I will try not to make this long. So starting off strong with the questions from Anna. First of all, what is it like to have FA? For those of you who don't know, as a preface to this video, I just realized I should probably get that. Friedreich's ataxia, or FA, is a neuromuscular progressive genetic disorder that is neuromuscular and progressive. It's genetic.
Hey.
Hi. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Hey.
Come on in.
I totally forgot.
It's okay. Come on in.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hey, how you going? I got a present.
It's a book that I've been waiting for a while. They just. Oh my god!
That's the most annoying sound in the world.
I'm sorry. So, getting back to the video's topic, sorry for that interruption. What is it like to have FA? This is such a vague question. There's so many different aspects that you have to consider of having FA and living with FA, and I don't know if I can answer that in one concise statement. Ultimately, I would say having FA, it feels like you don't know where you are in space. If I were to close my eyes and just lean, yeah, okay, so like that's an example. For most people, when you walk or feel around you or anything like that, you know where you are. It's easy to take steps forward and to reach out and feel something in front of you and to, lean forward or close your eyes and bounce in the dark. That's easy because you know where you are. And even if you're in a fully dark room and can't see 5 feet ahead of you, you know the basics of, okay, I'm standing in a room right now, and there is probably something around me that I could bump into, so I have to be careful. With FA, you don't get that. I would say that's probably the best way I can concisely describe it. Question number 2, what are some struggles you have daily with FA? I would say daily struggles as of right now, in my current progression right now, my feet hurt a lot. I have something called pes cavus, which is where your feet, the arch of your foot is really, really bad. My feet not only grow in into themselves, they also grow in like a normal foot, like a leg's here, a foot would grow out, right? My feet grow in. So the other thing is most feet grow, like this. My feet grow like this. So basically when I turn my ankle, my foot is like this. It should not be. It should be like this, but it's like this. That kind of hurts right now. I do have braces. My dad says they look like Gene Simmons. That's his name. My dad says they look like Gene Simmons boots from Kiss. It's a giant boot that is constructed to look like my foot, so it's not gonna hurt, but it's gonna help keep my feet in place when I'm wearing them. The boots have one part that goes on the bottom that supports my foot, and another part that goes over it that basically helps my foot stay in place. That's mostly for when I'm walking or standing. I'm just wearing the bottom part right now because I feel like that's all I need to keep my feet. They have like sides that come up so they keep my feet in place, and that's good enough. Other struggles, I would say, I don't know the typical human experience per day. Like, if you don't have, I don't typically have any body pain, if that's what you're asking, but if you're asking, like, relatively in comparison to an able-bodied person, I don't know how to answer that because I don't remember being an able-bodied person from first person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember how it feels to walk, and I've been doing things the way that I do them for however long, so it's just, it's gotten to be normal for me, and I don't really know, I can't really answer this question because I don't know how to adequately compare. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my answer to that. Sorry if it wasn't detailed enough. Is it hard to make food with FA? This is also Anna's question. So, yeah. Yeah, it is. So in this house, my house I've lived in since I was, born, before I was born, it's difficult to make food because the cabinets are above me and I cannot reach them, and therefore I cannot reach pretty much any food in the kitchen. But my parents are always around to help, so it's hard to make food, but I never have to worry about it because I also have a bin underneath my bed that just has a bunch of snacks in it, and I do use that sometimes, like when I'm at my PC or something, I'll use that, because it's just convenient if I'm hungry or whatever. But making food outside of in the kitchen, I don't really do that. My parents do, and I know that might sound juvenile, but it's the way it works for us. Because I can't contribute to normal household expectations for a typical teenager because I am not able to do so. Are there any pros to FA? I mean, not unless you want to get greedy. Because basically what that means is, like, I have certain accommodations with school. I've never taken advantage of these, by the way, but I have certain accommodations in school and in my daily life that allows me a lot more time to do what I enjoy doing, such as writing. I do write a lot. I write more than I should. Examples of accommodations would be my motor skills are not fine, so I can't write very fast, like handwrite very fast. So in school, before I switched from online school, I'm doing online school now, a totally virtual school, 100% virtual. But before that, I had accommodations that if we ever had to handwrite something in class that was too much for me, or during math when we had to write out a tedious problem, I was able to type it. That was probably the main accommodation, aside from leaving classes early and getting into classes early just so I could avoid the hallway rush. And I did take advantage of that one, I will say. I don't think I abused it, but I used it whenever I needed it to. The other thing that I didn't mention is on vacation. If we're on vacation, my feet do not get blisters. And the other cool thing is I haven't stubbed my toe in about 3 years. Bet that makes you jealous. What are the cons to having FA? Well, what do you mean by cons? Because there are so many things I could go into here. Probably the main thing that I could think about is I can't go to a water park anymore. Because first of all, water parks aren't accommodating, and why would they need to be? Because you typically, I mean, you're not gonna go to a water park in your wheelchair. If you're an ambulatory wheelchair user watching this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean any offense by that, but some people are ambulatory wheelchair users, meaning they use wheelchair as needed, but they can still stand for short periods of time. Some paraplegics are ambulatory. And if you're ambulatory and watching this, I promise I didn't mean any offense by that, but I can't go to a water park because I'm not ambulatory. I can't walk, like, at all. I can't stand at all unless I'm holding on to a lot of things, or unless my dad's practically carrying me. So I haven't actually ridden a water slide, I want to say 4 years. Which is sad. I can still ride roller coasters and go to amusement parks as long as they are accessible enough. And speaking of which, we're actually going to Disney this month, at the end of this month. So, vlog coming out about that later this year. I would say for me, that's about it. Because I don't really do much with my life anyway. Like, that sounded really sad, but I don't really go anywhere or like do much outside the house. So I feel like for me it's not as much of a problem as it would be for like someone who travels on daily, you know? Moving on to Gracie's questions. How do you deal with hard days, coping skills, etc.? Again, that's kind of vague, but I'll answer the best I can. So physically hard days, I really just don't do much, like, anyway, so there's not much I have to change. But if it's a physically hard day when I'm, like, on vacation, or when we had already planned to go somewhere or do something, typically I'll just let my parents know, or whoever's gonna be with me, I'll let them know in advance that, like, hey, I might need some extra help today, I'm really not feeling great. Everyone in my life at the moment is very accommodating and nice, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Physically hard days, I just say let someone know and try to take it easy. I don't push myself on hard days like that. Mentally hard days, on the other hand, like when anxiety is beating me up, or if I don't have any motivation, or I'm just really sad. Typically those kind of hard days I'll just deal with by, again, not really doing anything and trying to keep my socializing to a minimum. Because I find personally, not everyone's gonna agree with this, and that's fine. It's not supposed to be that way. But personally, I find that socializing drains my mental battery just overall. The other of Gracie's questions was, what hobbies have you picked up since the diagnosis? Well, I would say writing. I write a lot, and I'll post some of my poems here. If you want to read them, pause it, but if you don't, it's fine. I can write from my wheelchair a lot. That's something that I'm not limited to, so I can do that from literally anywhere in the house. I also game a lot. I wouldn't really say I picked that up since the diagnosis, but I do like gaming. I'm into gaming. I read sometimes, but only if it's a book I'm interested in. One of the things I will mention is before the diagnosis of FA, when I was 10 years old, I was very adamant about medical stuff, and I really wanted to be a doctor. Specifically, I wanted to be a pediatrician. Since I was 3 to maybe about 11, I wanted to be a doctor. I gave up on that dream, not because I think I can't do it. I think I could. This is not a fishing for compliments or anything, but I have a gift in writing and art in general, but more specifically writing. and I want to use that to the best of my ability. And I think that if I was a doctor, I might like it and I might be really good at it, but it would be taking away from my natural ability to write, which I don't think I would have found if I hadn't had the diagnosis. So for that, I'm grateful. Corey's question, who is Gracie's boyfriend: how does it feel to watch your parents support you through everything? Do you guys have a stronger relationship because of it? Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, very much so. About times, yes. My parents would definitely attest to this.
You can just put your head in here like this. See how your head is? She's not naked, guys. Herself look like she's fully naked.
I have the rattiest, holiest
She's practicing Christianity right now.
40-year-old pajamas.
She has holy pajamas on. Yeah, we're close. It's made us closer, can't you see? Seriously, cut. Take 27. I don't know why she's laughing. It's a very serious question. Okay. Just trying to be, not be serious.
Wow.
All right.
No way.
Nude mother, what do you think?
My daughter makes it very easy to have a good relationship and be close because she's such an awesome person. She's got such a positive outlook on life. She's happy-go-lucky. She's got a killer sense of humor. She's a good advocate for herself, and she communicates well. And I think also the fact that, yes, we have specific challenges that are unique to our family, and that requires a certain degree of extra communication and patience and understanding with each other. It also it requires what's the word I'm looking for?
Cohabitation?
No. Coordination and being able to anticipate each other's needs and work together. Coordination, all that.
Cooperation.
And developing and working that communication skill like a muscle has helped us be closer. Because the physical unique challenges that we face have helped us communicate better and be more respectful of how we have to work together to get a common goal accomplished.
Another thing that's done is we spend time together as a family that other families don't necessarily spend time doing. So we have road trips for medical purposes, we have doctor's appointments, and we have other things that we do that are different than families might otherwise either not do at all or would do something different. We have things that sort of bond us in a different way because we're there for a unique purpose. So us staying in hotels more is not because we're rich and famous and get to travel all over the world. It's because we're going to different hospitals or we're going to see different doctors or therapists or something. So we get more time together for different reasons. And I think anytime families spend time together, regardless of the reason, it's going to make you closer.
I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah,
So the short answer is yes, it's made us closer, but those are all the reasons why. Also, her education, the way that she is educated has made an impact on us, and that's outside of surgeries or diagnosis or anything else. So she has been in a hybrid school for so long, and now she's in a virtual environment. So we just spend a lot of time together at home. And after the whole COVID shutdown thing in 2020, everybody started living at home more. And so even if you work in a corporate type world, you're at home more because you're working remotely a lot. So we're together more than we're not. And that has significantly helped all of us understand each other and our closeness and all that. That's been amazing. So that's
sure.
that's outside of FA and outside of surgery and outside of everything else. But you put all those things together, and yeah, we're closer than I think any other family could be, in my opinion.
In my opinion too. And it's like that old cliche that says love isn't about gazing into each other's eyes, but it's about standing beside each other and looking into the future, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much us too. We all have a unified goal as far as like seeing her education complete, seeing her get a home in the future, or seeing her complete her desires to be a writer one day. We all kind of pitch in and try to bring all of her goals to fruition, and we try to encourage her in every way we can, whether it be, you know, physical, getting her supplies and tools that she needs, or listening to her stories, or just giving her verbal encouragement, or critique when necessary. We look forward together to bring future goals to fruition.
And one last thing. So I would normally work on random projects around the house, but a lot of my projects are very specific to something that would benefit her or all of us together. And so because I am always learning as I go, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I just screw boards up and hope that they don't fall down. So I'm constantly having to have everybody test things or whatever. So when I do anything in a room, whether it's decorative or it's functional, we're always together because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm having them test it or getting feedback on it. And that's, even those simple tasks make us closer, because everything that we do, we're doing either because we're doing it together or because I have no idea what I'm doing and they're testing it and seeing if it'll work or telling me what they need or whatever.
He builds hillbilly redneck ramps.
None of them are straight. They're all a little less crooked than the last one is. All that is for the purposes of together. We have to do it together. Otherwise, I have no idea, number one, if it'll work, if it won't fall down or whatever. So it's brought me and Mama closer together just because I need her help to either handle, test ideas, because I'll come up with all kinds of ideas and she'll not know what I'm talking about. But then if I say something, she'll tell me if I'm thinking wrong about it, and it'll give me a whole new perspective on it. So I try to lead everybody through what's in my head, which that's brought us together, because you try to orbit this, you're going to get lost in a black hole. And it's been fun trying to test and talk about what solutions for a house in the future would be like. That is awesome. So how has that brought us together? Baby girl didn't know that Home Depot sold anything other than a board or something, and she went there and all of a sudden she said, "Oh dear Lord, it's a big old building." And just looking around there, so we might not do bowling anymore, but we go to Home Depot and we have that type of fun, right? We could, but it's that type of stuff. So you shift things. You're still spending time together, but you're spending time together doing other stuff. And now it's about ideas for what will work and what people haven't thought of that isn't available, that you could make up or invent or cause you to be a lot more creative.
Watching and having actively my parents supporting me through everything has been a gift. I am eternally grateful for both of my parents. I could definitely not have done any of this without them, and they're the ones that have supported me through my writing career. Jordan's questions are more directed toward the spinal-fusion surgery and not toward FA as a whole, which is absolutely fine. So her questions are, does having rods and screws in my back hurt, or can I feel it? Right now, in this minute, and right now is in this point of my life, I cannot feel the rods and screws in my back, nor can I feel the fact that, my muscles have been realigned entirely. I can put pictures of that here. Can I feel it at all right now? No. If I reach back and put my hand against my spine, with my hand I can feel it, but with my spine I can't. But I could. I did for about the first 2 or 3 months after surgery. Post-op, I had my surgery on July 6, 2021, by the way. So for about the first 3 months after surgery, yes, I could feel my back. I could feel the rod in my back, and yes, it was uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say it hurt. It just felt weird. I was used to growing up with my back entirely curved, and I'll put pictures of that here. My back was completely curved like a C shape, and I was so used to that. I literally considered it a superpower, and to suddenly have that taken away and straightened was so weird and uncomfortable, and especially because part of what they did in surgery was cutting open my muscles, especially around my shoulders, and they had to insert the rod and screws and then lay the muscles back down over them where they were supposed to be, and it's all fused now, so it feels fine, but post-op I could feel it, and it did hurt. The muscles hurt, but the rod just felt weird. Can I move my back at all? So, yes, but no. Pretend that made sense. So, I can move the small of my back down here. I can bend that forward and then back a little bit. I can arch it just slightly, but it's not noticeable if I have a shirt on, which I know sounds weird, but like, you can only see it if you can see my bare back, because it's so small you can barely see anything, but I feel it when I do it. It's just, I can feel that there's something stopping it, but I can't feel the rod necessarily. And then I can do the opposite too, but it's even less of an impact. Did the scar itch? No, it did not. And part of the reason it did not was because I was on medication for about the first couple weeks after surgery. And after that, my back is so numb. Everything in the blue is where it's numb. My back is it's still numb in those parts that in the picture. That's felt the weirdest, I would say, leading back to the question of, can I feel the rod in my back? No, but I can feel the numbness, and that's probably the weirdest part of surgery now, and I have gotten used to it, but it hasn't stopped feeling weird. If you've ever had a tooth extraction, or for any reason been numb, and you've had like Novocaine or some numbing something on your jaws and your cheek and your mouth, anywhere around here, and you scratch that area, it feels like that in my back now, part of my back. Anonymous questions. What do you wish able-bodied people would know about disabled people? I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself. So that's what I'm going to do. But if you are another disabled person who feels differently, please argue with me in the comments. I will be happy to read that. We aren't inferior. It's a blunt statement, I realize that, but it's something that I feel like needs to be addressed, because a lot of able-bodied people, when certain able-bodied people will ask me if I need help, they'll say so in like a demeaning way. They'll say so in a way that's implying that I can't do things on my own, even if it's in a different way than able-bodied people can. I don't know if you've ever read the book Wonder, but there is a wonderful, no pun intended, book that I would highly recommend. It's about a little boy, and his name is August, and he has a facial anomaly. His struggles through 5th grade, going to a regular school for the first time, really emphasizes what disabled people struggle with. Not just wheelchair users, but any disabled person ever. It emphasizes the struggles that we go through on a daily basis and what it feels like when people act rudely toward us. I would say that that book got me through middle school, because there were some times when I would go through middle school wanting the ground to eat me up because I was so embarrassed by having a rollator that no one else had. This is a very small school, by the way, and I was the only person in this school who was physically disabled and had a wheelchair or a rollator or something to help me move. All the staff members were very nice about it, and most of the kids were too. It was still humiliating to go through the halls every day, wishing I was homeschooled. And I'm homeschooled now, but I'm glad I went through the trials I went through, because it did help. I wish they knew that it was okay to talk to us like a normal person. You can just go up and say, hey, how's your day? What's your name? You don't have to be afraid of us. Like, I feel like so many people that are able-bodied are just like afraid to talk to me. I'm a person. You can talk to me. God wouldn't have made me if you couldn't talk to me. What is your biggest pet peeve regarding being wheelchair bound? It's gonna sound stupid, but honestly, one of my biggest pet peeves about being wheelchair bound is when animals don't get out of my way because they aren't afraid of my wheelchair. And it's not a pet peeve. I think it's adorable, but also, buddy, if you're seeing me rolling to you, I feel like you might want to roll away a little bit. Looking at cats here, especially because cats do not understand that they might get run over if they stay in front of me. Dogs are more okay than cats are, but still. That's more of a silly one, though. I can't really... Maybe it is that people just don't like talk to me because they're scared of offending me or something. And you can also just ask what's going on. Like, it's not rude. I wouldn't say don't go up to someone and say, hey, what's wrong with you? But, you know, do so, like, introduce yourself and, like, maybe say, hey, how's it going? Make small talk with them a little bit. And then, you know, work into the conversation. Hey, do you mind sharing a little bit about what's going on? Or why you're in a wheelchair? Or why you use a device to help you get around or something like that? You don't have to be afraid of asking. It's just a question. And the worst they could say is no. I say just go for it. It's fine with me. If it's, I don't know how other people feel about it, but it's okay with me. What would you change about your surroundings to make your life in a wheelchair easier? Everything off the floor. Get everything off the floor. I have a wall-mounted desk, many wall-mounted bookshelves, and also everything in my room is on a wall except for my mini fridge and my bed. I have a set of drawers over there too that's also on the floor, but everything else is off the floor and on a shelf, or, you know, is a shelf in itself. And also, there's a contraption in my bathroom that no one's ever heard of. It's called Pants Up Easy. But I would say Pants Up Easy would go everywhere. In every bathroom, in every bedroom, everywhere. It has been a game changer for me. I cannot stress enough how much this contraption has helped me so much in my journey. And I've only had it for less than a year by now, but by God, it's so helpful. What advice would you give someone newly diagnosed with FA? I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't think I'm the right person to ask this, because with my diagnosis, I never felt pain or sadness or anything like that. I feel like parents might be the better ones to ask, honestly, because they took the diagnosis way harder than I ever did. I didn't feel anything bad about getting diagnosed, and most people would have. So I can't really speak from a first person point of view to someone that is experiencing trauma and pain and suffering from this condition, but to someone who sees like me, for someone newly diagnosed with FA, maybe I would just say things will get better as you figure stuff out. They will get worse, but they will also get better in different areas of your life. So it will probably get worse, I'm just warning you, when it comes to socializing. Socializing is going to get harder. It's going to get a lot more scarce, and it's going to be rare that you find someone that is actually going to talk to you like a regular human. Things are also going to get easier when you get to the stages of finding people that are helpful for you, and finding people that are willing to stick by you when things get low. And also, I know it sounds really cheesy and it's like really classic, and trust me, I know, but honestly, it's true. It will remove the toxic people from your life. If people are true, people might be your friend, but are they your friend for the right reason? I know it's cliche, but it's a genuine question. If people are not your friend for the right reason, they will leave when you get diagnosed. I'm just warning you as a heads up. They happen to me and it'll happen to you too. When you get diagnosed with something physically or mentally that makes you different from the vast majority of people, and you have certain friends in your life that are scared of being friends with an outcast or with a physically or mentally challenged person, they're gonna leave, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot, and it might be traumatic, but at least it will make you a stronger person, and it will tell you that person was not meant to be in your life, and they would not be in your life forever, and it's gonna be hard, but it's better late than never. That's probably the biggest challenge you're gonna face, honestly, in your time having FA. But the biggest upside to all that is you're gonna find the best people too. It feels like, honestly, when you are in a wheelchair or if you are physically disabled, it's gonna bring out the best and the worst of people who are in your life. Some of that's gonna be hard, and some of that's gonna be really, really awesome. The people that have stuck with me through the entire period of being disabled and having challenges, both mentally and physically, are the best people that you will ever meet. And that's the best thing that's ever gonna happen to you. Yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest piece of advice I can give to someone with FA, or with any physical disability. Mental too, but more so physical. What have you learned about yourself since your diagnosis? That's a great question. So I'm gonna link this answer back to my previous answer, which was you will find the best and the worst of people in your life. Because I think something I've learned about myself, and I think something a lot of people have learned about themselves who are physically disabled in some aspect, I don't want to say broken, but saddened, maybe, by the people who've left my life, but also encouraged by the people who stay in it. This is not really FA related, but this is more related to the surgery. Something I've learned about myself since the surgery is how much of an endurance I have. It took a lot of courage to go into that surgery, because the time I was in the OR without my parents, but before I had the anesthesia in me, that was the most anxiety I've ever felt. I am not exaggerating. I wish I was, but I would say I've learned that I can be really courageous when I have to be. We watch Outer Banks together. He likes Outer Banks.
I do.
I tried to introduce Mom to it, and he got into it instead.
It's
Mom
really sweet, actually.
Mom calls it the orbit because you orbit around John B's head all the time. Her words, not mine.
He was blessed. He was blessed with an abundant-sized mother.
What's missing in shows now? And I never thought about it before. Nobody ever thinks about it. Nope. I like that boat. I think you'd like to be on that boat. How could we get you on that boat? So I'm always thinking about what lift, what ramp, what could we build? Why are there no boats that's successful? How is the best way to get an accessible boat to get in a cabin, but still? So my brain goes there when I'm watching these, and then I start talking to boat people that I find, and then I start trying to figure out.
You just goes around the street and finds boat people.
I meet people outdoors. If they got a big old I'm from a yacht club t-shirt on, I'm going to go say, hey, dude.
When have you ever met someone that has a t-shirt and says, I'm in a yacht club?
It happens. It could happen.
Well, Daddy likes to make up stories just like you do. He likes to write fiction too.
Yeah, it's all fiction until the next video comes out where I'm hoisting her butt into a damn yacht and it's becoming accessible, and I'm like, see, I met somebody. It could happen.
You will not hoist my butt into a yacht.
I
ever.
know fancy people. They got fancy hoists.
Do you think I'm fancy?
No.
Good.
I'm saying that your poor ass butt could fit in a fancy lift that goes into a multi-million-dollar yacht. And I'm going to meet somebody that'll take us there.
Yeah, what do you think about this idea?
You think I could talk to somebody and meet somebody that has $1 million yacht?
Your father has spoken, so let it be.
He's not God.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell me that beard is not divinity.
Oh,
that's in
awesome.
The cool book forever.
Awesome. You got to edit all this now.
Okay, bye, Mom.
My knees hurt.
Okay, I'll miss you back there.
Okay, don't show ugly pajamas, please. God, they're so ugly.
They're not.
Mother did not dress for the occasion.
No, this was.
I woke up this morning saying,
no preparation.
my baby girl may be making a video today. Home, put on a shirt. And then I took the shirt off because it got hot. But then I thought, she still might turn that record button on. So what I do, I put back on my shirt. And I was all prepared. We're in the middle of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. But by God, I had my shirt ready. You know kids nowadays. Hellfire.
You could have easily said, no, we ain't going back to your room.
I know. And we're gonna make the best damn video you've ever seen. You better be videoing the hell out of this one.
Okay.
All right, Mama, let's go back and watch some Jeopardy and get smarter.
Well, I'll watch the Jeopardy anyway.
All right. It's my turn to get smarter. She's just gonna watch.